Flex Nation. I'm Gabbs.
And I'm DeGe.
This is the Cinema Dash.
We're about to finesse a Ghost in the Shell review.
That's gonna be our alternate title.
What, Flex Nation? Flex Nation. Hey, welcome to Flex Nation. We're about to finesse a movie review for you. Here we go.
Yes. We are back with another movie review. As for the third time we said that, because I don't know how to speak English. Because after 2 seasons more or less, I have now realized that I cannot do an intro pretty well.
Nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I'm actually really excited for this episode because we saw Ghost in the Shell, and
yeah, we did.
Just a little background before we start. Ghost in the Shell is probably my favorite anime ever. Favorite anime movie.
Weeb.
Fuck off.
Weeb.
It's probably my favorite anime movie ever. My favorite anime TV show is Cowboy Bebop. But
enter in a chance to win in a contest for $5 if you type Weeb in the comments.
Yeah, I'll send you $5 for Venmo.
We'll pick a winner.
Yeah, we'll pick.
I won't tell you when, but we will.
Oh, I can't wait to give $5 to myself. I can't wait to do it. But yeah, a little bit of background before we start the review is Ghost in the Shell is probably like my favorite animated movie of all time, or anime of all time. Not my favorite animated movie, but so it's been like hugely inspirational in the way that like like shaping like what kind of movies I like, because it was like that Blade Runner, Star Wars, and like Mad Max that really like kind of like shaped my my movie taste. So it's kind of like, you know, like cyberpunk, sci-fi, whatever, action and stuff like that. But yeah, so this movie was like hugely influential to me when I was a kid, and even now I rewatched it again before we saw the movie, and still holds up. Still an amazing anime, one of the best ever made. And when they announced that they were doing this, I was hesitant because, like, you know, animated film adaptations in the past haven't been that great. Looking at you, Dragon Ball Evolution. But you know, the director behind it was like okay. Like visually, he's a really cool director because Snow White and the Huntsman, while it wasn't the greatest movie in the world, if it was one thing going for it, it had some really good visuals. So like, I was happy they had him on for at least the visual aspect, but I didn't know much about his directing because he only made one movie, and he doesn't really have like a set style. As opposed to like, you know, big namers like Martin Scorsese or like David Fincher or anything. But after seeing the first trailer, I was a little worried. I mean, they got the look down. And I said this multiple times to all my friends, like, if anything, it'll be like an extremely like visually compelling movie as opposed to the story. Because getting the story right would have been really hard. Because, you know, Ghost in the Shell, while it's beautifully animated and has a fantastic story, it's really the underlying like philosophical undertones that really like make it one of the greatest animes ever. And I was just hoping that, you know, if they were to get anything right, it would at least be the visuals and the philosophical undertones. So yeah, what about you, man? What's your experience with Ghost in the Shell, if you have any? Oh,
little to none.
Yeah, that's right. No, we were actually talking about this before. We thought it would be a really cool dynamic if we have somebody just like judge the movie based on the movie itself, and then also have somebody judge it based on you know, how it relates and compares to the anime. So Gabbs is going to be judging the movie based on its own merits and stuff like that.
Because I've never seen the original.
You've never seen Ghost in the Shell. And I want to be judging it based on a longtime fan who's seen pretty much all Ghost in the Shell media except for Arise. I haven't seen Arise yet. But yeah, so basic plot of this movie. Scarlett Johansson plays a character named the Major. And, you know, this whole whitewashing controversy came through. You know, it's kind of impossible to talk about without talking about this movie. There was this whole whitewashing controversy where, like, because originally in the anime, you know, Motoko Kusanagi is the Major, and she's a Japanese woman. And Scarlett Johansson is not a Japanese woman; she's an American woman. So they changed her name to Mira Killian, and but she still like retains the same look as the Major, and you know, same hairstyle, same everything. And same personality, except she's white. And the movie tries to justify it, but we'll talk about that later. And frankly, when in the context of Ghost in the Shell, it doesn't really matter that Scarlett Johansson's white, because if anybody has ever seen the anime, they would know that it wouldn't matter if she was white or not. Though, and having a Japanese woman in the role wouldn't have changed anything, because it's literally the same dialogue, same scenes. It's the same movie. It would just be more faithful to the comics or the manga and the anime. And while I admit I would like to see a Japanese woman in the role, I thought Scarlett Johansson was the next best choice if they were going to cast an American woman. So yeah, so she is created and she's implanted with a ghost, which is also known as like a human soul, or the brain, and it is planted inside of a robot, which is called a shell. So ghost in the shell. And the Major is the first of her kind because she is the first cybernetic human with a ghost, like a human brain, but she's all cybernetic, whereas everybody else is pretty much enhanced in a way. Yeah, it's kind of like Deus Ex if you've ever played Deus Ex. But yeah, so I have to say, this is a near perfect adaptation of Ghost in the Shell. I was extremely pleasantly surprised with this movie. Yeah, so and you
about that. Like again, I've never seen the original Ghost in the Shell, so therefore don't take my if you have a similar like stance as a similar like situation with me, you're probably gonna find I don't know, like I hope you find it the same way I do, or if you don't, then good, you enjoyed the movie. With that being said, I did not like this at all.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we could just talk about what we liked and what we didn't like about the movie. I'm gonna be obviously, since I've seen all of the Ghost in the Shell stuff, I'm gonna be talking about comparisons and stuff like that. So there's gonna be spoilers. And yeah, so I guess why don't we start off with what we didn't like about the movie first? I guess. Well, actually, I think it's gonna be. I
have more dislikes than likes.
Yeah, so
you have more likes than dislikes.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a halfway type thing. So I'll just breeze through the likes then, I guess, really quick. For one, I think that we both agreed on is that the best part about this movie is the visuals by far.
Yeah.
This is one of the most gorgeous looking movies I've ever seen, to be quite honest. It is one of the most thrilling, true to life adaptations of the anime, of any anime to live action so far. This is the world of Ghost in the Shell. If Hollywood were to take this and make this for American audiences, it's perfect. It looks exactly like how it did in the anime and in the manga. Though I've never read the manga, I've only seen like panels of it. It looks exactly how it did in the anime. It looks fantastic. The camera work is gorgeous. Literally every single shot oozes just sci-fi cyberpunk goodness. It's fucking phenomenal what they did to replicate the world of Ghost in the Shell. And there was a lot of Blade Runner influence too, because Masamune, I don't really know how to say his name. The creator of Ghost in the Shell has outright said that Blade Runner was a very heavy influence on Ghost in the Shell, and you can tell in this movie because this movie is fucking beautiful. It's great. Yeah. So, anything you want to say about the visuals?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of weird seeing all like the billboards like all 3D like holograms like that, but like it still looked cool. Like I will like those will probably be a thing in the future. I wouldn't doubt it. So it was good. Like the big fish one, I really liked.
Yeah.
There's the one with the corgi at the end, which I just like the dog. No, but yeah, the one thing I like about the visuals was I like the car. I like the car they drove in at majority of the time.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, the coolest looking '80s car.
Yeah, that was sick. I was actually really surprised they did something like that. That was really cool. Because the cars weren't like that in the anime, and like I liked how they took that kind of like creative liberty and made it kind of like because the score is really reminiscent of like 80s synthwave and stuff like that.
Like right from the opening, I would say yeah.
So yeah, this
pretty synthy.
Yeah, this movie definitely has kind of like an 80s vibe to it.
So also, if you don't know me and DeGe, we're pretty into synthwave. So
yeah, absolutely.
So that's something we both really like.
Yes. And this movie has a lot of influences from it, like a lot of 80s influences. And so the visuals, the visual effects, visual cinematography, to a T, how it was in the anime, and even as a standalone film, it's just fantastic. They look fantastic. Another thing that I really liked about this movie was the adaptation of the characters. Batu, the guy who plays Batu, is perfect as Batu. Like amazing as Batu. They nail The one thing I really appreciated that they did was they really nailed the chemistry between Batu and Major. Because in the anime, they kind of have like this playful friendship while they also like rag on each other all the time. And in this movie, they have that a lot, which was really cool. I really like to see how they nailed the chemistry between them. Yeah, so, and Scarlett Johansson is fantastic as Major. She adapts her perfectly. Major was always kind of like this very emotionless, kind of like a shell of a human being, for no pun intended. But she was always like this very emotionless, very calculated by the books character, and they did take a couple of liberties with the character, yeah, she was just really good as Major. She really adapted and portrayed Major in a very accurate way. And Togusa was in this movie too, but he really didn't get that much screen time, which was kind of disappointing. And so was Ichikawa and Saito too, but they all didn't really get a lot of screen time. But they looked the part, so I'll give it that. Yeah.
I don't think there is a bad performance. I just didn't like any of the characters. Like, I felt like whoever the fuck, because Major Motoko. As you can see, I don't know anything about this movie. Yeah, like I just felt like she reminded me of a really angsty teen.
Wait, are you talking about Scarlett Johansson?
I'm talking about
Mira Killian.
Sorry, yeah, the bullshit, whatever.
Oh, I'm gonna go into that.
Yeah, I just felt like she reminded me of like a really angsty teen that I even wanted to beat up, because she was just like, just fucking me and Shell. Who am I really? What are my true feelings?
Yeah.
Shut up.
I'm gonna get into that.
Fucking shut up.
I'm gonna get into that. Later.
Batu's like, yeah, these eyes, they're really good with the guns.
These eyes.
Yeah, and then his eyes get taken away. Like, yeah, now they're even better. And I'm like, but like, the one performance I really didn't like was like any of the villains, or like the one head of the group, like the guy who only spoke Japanese.
You didn't like his performance?
No, I just felt it just felt like phoned in. It felt like the way it sounded felt phoned in to me.
Okay.
Like I felt like it was like the same tone, like Japanese whatsoever. I'm not gonna do anything racist yet.
I was about to say, like, no, you're trying to some territory right there.
I just felt like I just didn't like any of them.
I got you.
Even like the guy who was like, oh, he's the villain, but like, no, he's not. Spoiler.
And that
is it even a spoiler?
What?
Like, can we do spoilers in this one?
Yeah, I said in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers.
Okay. Yeah. So the guy who's like the villain, the trailer shows to be the villain, but he's not actually the villain. The guy, the one that was like before, the guy who was like also the cybernetic guy, but like he was like the failed one before.
Oh, Kuze?
Yeah, exactly. I also
Kuze. Oh, I'll get into that later.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't know any of the names, even though this is like a 2-hour movie. Most 2-hour movies I know the names, but like I didn't pick any. The only ones I really picked up were Scarlett Johansson's, because she's the main fucking character, and I'm still getting that wrong because there's bullshit with that, and Bantu, because Bantu's like probably the most, like the easiest one because it's only 2 syllables. So
I guess so. But yeah, I mean, what they did with I actually kind of really like the main villain, to be quite honest, because they kind of did, if for any of our viewers who've actually seen like all the Ghost in the Shell shit, they did a mixture of the Puppet Master from the original anime, and then they did a mix. They did a mix of the Puppet Master from the original anime and Kuze from Standalone Complex, and they put them together and kind of made like this whole new thing where he's just named Kuze. And I thought he was compelling. I mean, I hated that emo haircut he had, because he was just like angsty, like nobody understands me. I was left to die.
It's a very
and I was
angsty
like, okay,
movie.
whatever.
I can see in like 2 or 3 years is catching on as really like the angsty like movie that every angsty teenager has to see.
What, Ghost in the Shell?
Ghost in the Shell, yeah.
Okay.
This movie thrives with angst. That's my review. It thrives with angst.
Thrives with angst. The movie. I mean, for what they did, I do think that Kuze was a pretty compelling villain. I liked him a lot.
I was talking about Cutter as the villain.
The Cutter's dumb shit. Like he wasn't even a thing. He tried. They probably adapted him to be like the head of Section 6, but like he was fucking stupid. But whatever. So
he was like, I'm mad.
Yeah, he was like, I'm mad, so I'm gonna take it out on everybody else.
You better get it all straight now, or I'm gonna call I'm gonna do something.
Man, I'm gonna do it again.
And like, I'm gonna get the spider tank, who's like really has like a bunch of design flaws because all you have to do is get on top of it, and then it's basically dead.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah. So moving on from characters, pretty much I liked all the characters because they were adapted very well, and all the performances were pretty good. So I want to talk a little bit about how, because this movie is more of a replicant, I would say, than a remake. It's like
saying like. It's like Drake saying that More Life is a
playlist, but not an album. Yeah, I mean, because this movie adapts. This movie takes a lot from the. It pretty much adapts like 85% of the first movie, and it does a little bit of standalone complex. And I think I read somewhere that it did some Arise too, but like whatever, nobody likes Arise. So, I want to talk a little bit about what they adapted from the movie, and what they didn't adapt really. So they do a bunch of they pretty much do every important scene from the original anime, which they do to a very very accurate and very great degree, to be quite honest. They do the pivotal like boat scene where I was a little disappointed with that one because it didn't have the same like emotional impact that it did in the anime. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. They do the ending scene where she fights the spider tank. They do the creation of the ghost, of the shell in the beginning of the movie, which was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, the opening sequence.
Oh my god, it was beautiful. If there's one thing that this movie does to not surpass the original, but kind of like pay homage to it, is just the amount of sheer dedication that they put into how the shots were composed and everything, because they really recreated that, because the creation scene in the first anime is like a very very pivotal scene, and like how they do it in this one, albeit it's a lot shorter, but how they pay homage to it is just fantastic. It's really good. The boat scene again didn't really. It follows some of the same message that the original boat scene was trying to do, but not to the same degree of excellence that the anime had, and really just a lot of like, and also the part with the garbage man, they adapt that too, and that was really cool. So yeah, like they do adapt a lot of the original anime scenes like quite perfectly, to be quite honest. But my main issue with this movie is that they take the philosophical elements of the original Ghost in the Shell and they water them down for an American audience. Which is just kind of dumb, because they think of us as like stupid and we can't like follow heavy themes or whatever.
I mean, look at us.
I mean, you're right. Look at us, but like still, we're able to process like heavy themes, like the reality, the reality of the blurred line between AI and being human, or gender identity, or sexual identity, like how because those are hotly debated topics
or
today.
Sexual abilities. That's from that Jimmy Neutron edit I showed you.
Oh, shut up! Shut up. So, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of stupid that they think that we can't understand these very big themes, when really a lot of movies nowadays explore those themes to a much greater degree than this movie, and whatever. I mean, that's Hollywood for you. So, what I liked about the movie: visuals, characters, adaptation from anime to film. ScarJo was fantastic. The music. Oh my god, the music! Holy shit, the music! Why don't you take the reins on the music? I think you like the music.
Yeah, it's very synthy. We talked about that before. I think you and I both appreciate the synth very, very much.
Very much.
Yeah, it's kick ass, to say the least. I would say.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I was like, ooh, now we're pumping. But I will say, and this can kind of like segue into the cons of the movie, because no movie is perfect.
That is correct.
Except for like our two favorites, but that's the point.
That is correct.
This movie, like even the action scenes, was just still felt really boring. Like, it's just really boring. Like I will say, like some of the action was cool, but like it was very CGI, and I got that. Like the part at the end with the spider tank, where she's running up all of the falling debris.
I thought the CGI for the most part was pretty good though. Like when it comes to like the world building.
Yeah, that was good, but like the one, like the parts where she was like doing stuff, and they had to like, oh, it's clearly not Scarlett Johansson or anyone who has the ability to do that. It was a computer. I felt like, okay, yeah, that looks.
Oh, like the part where she was climbing up the wall at the end.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, no, I noticed that.
I'm like
yeah.
that's not a person.
That's not good.
That's not real. That's not there.
That's not real.
In real life, that's not there.
Not real.
And like, I feel like that's like the thing with most. I feel like that's the thing that most CGI still hasn't done well. Is
recreating people.
Is recreating people.
Yeah.
I feel like, if anything, like even like isn't like the Schwarzenegger from one of the Terminator movies like the only like good example of it or something?
No,
one of the other ones.
Social Network.
What was that one?
So check this shit out, right? I'm about to blow your mind.
If I didn't notice it, then that probably means also I haven't seen this in a while. So.
Remember the Winklevoss twins?
Oh yeah, they doubled.
One of them is CGI.
Oh yeah, wasn't it Army Hammer? I thought he did double.
Nope.
He didn't do double?
Nope. Oh, one of them is CGI Army Hammer.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I guess if we're gonna segue into the cons of this movie, I have a couple. I do. This movie's not perfect. Why don't you start off?
Well, like I said, this movie's plenty boring. Even with some of the action sequences, like it's kind of like predictable. I mean, like it's not really like it's kind of predictable just because like you saw most of the action in the trailers. Like the whole opening scene with like the spider.
The geishas.
With the geishas, yeah. They're like, yeah. We saw basically that entire fight scene in the trailers. If you watch the trailers, there was a part where like, she's beating up the garbage guy in the water. I'm like, I saw that too, and then like, yeah, and it just like I saw all that. The only parts I didn't see were the only action like we didn't see really from any trailer was the last part with the spider tank. Spider tank looked cool, and it looks weak, and it is actually weaker than it looks because it took like what 20 shots at a fucking like cement beam and didn't blow it up in like 2 shots, even though like the shells are probably like this big. And I'm showing you this big, but this is an audio podcast, and I'm showing you something that's the visually.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Yeah, it's like the size of probably like the size of a normal ass Poland Springs water bottle, I would say. So
Sure.
why not? So like I just felt like very bored. I looked at my phone quite often, I will say. So there's that. I also just saw there were pointless scenes. Like, why did they show me that? That does not affect anything. In fact, it just makes the movie longer.
Like what?
Like why go scuba diving?
Oh, that was a scene. That was a scene from the anime too.
Like why was she like?
See, and that's like one of the problems.
Oh, we can't find her. Oh, I know where she is. And he knows immediately that she's scuba diving. Where else in the movie do we know like she's scuba diving? How do we know that? How does he know?
That's one of the problems I have. That's one of the problems because in the anime, it cuts away the exact same way. Like it's just like, yeah, we have to go find her, and then it shows her like scuba diving in the water. Like scuba diving was just like a thing she would like to do. But the thing is, it makes sense because in the anime at least, it makes sense because the scene that follows afterwards, the boat scene, is like a very pivotal scene. Whereas in this movie, it's just like, yeah, you know, they're looking for you. I know. We have to go hunt. I have to go hunt them down. And Bachu's like, yeah, I know. I'm gonna be there with you every step of the way. Whereas in the anime, they have like a deep philosophical conversation where Motoko, the reason she scuba dives is because she doesn't feel at home in this world. She's literally creation. She's like not. She doesn't feel like she can connect with anybody, so she goes to the bottom of the river to feel isolated because she wants to feel that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do that pretty often.
Go to bottoms of rivers and isolate yourself?
No oxygen either.
Yeah, and like
I tie a cinder block to my leg.
yeah, and it's like and that scene in the original anime also shows like the great disparity between AI and human, because in the anime she starts to undress in front of Batu and Batu like looks away, like he's like starts to cover his eyes, and she doesn't give a shit if she like undresses in front of people because she's not fucking human. Like she doesn't like care, you know. She has no sense of like decency or whatever. Well, not decency, but she has like no sense of embarrassment when she gets naked.
But she has her old mind still. But like I understand that like this is the show. It's not actually her.
Yeah.
But like there's one part of the movie where it's just where she said like was like yeah, for someone who doesn't like people, well, you sure like dogs. And I'm like, because dogs aren't people, you idiot. And I'm like, and then you mentioned something like, well, yeah, she lost her memory or something like that.
Well, like the whole thing, the reason why she's so like cold and communicate and like calculated in this movie is because she got her memory wiped.
Yeah.
But whereas in the original anime, she like, it doesn't really delve into her past a lot in the original anime, but like it's implied that she's just like always been like that.
But like that's kind of common sense though. Even someone who loses their memory does not lose their common sense. Like, yes, you are not a dog.
You are not a dog.
You most certainly are not a cat. So there's that.
Yeah. I guess.
I just there's some stupid lines that I really didn't like either. I also didn't understand. I will say there's one other part of the movie where I didn't understand. Like I just felt like it was a stupid scene. Was the confrontation with the mom, because you don't really know it's the mom until like, oh, my daughter was lost, and she also looked just like you. She looks the same. You look the same way.
No, she didn't say that you look the same way as her. She said you remind me of her.
Yeah.
But obviously,
because how do you remind me of her? Because you look at me the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean she looks like her.
I know, but I just felt like that scene was also stupid.
Well, it just delves into Motoko's past. Like
I know, but like. It just.
If there's one thing that I think this movie improves,
it just felt weird and awkward too.
But that was kind of the point.
But not like the good awkward. Like, oh, I get it because like, you know, it's like that they're mom and daughter. But like, I just felt like it's just still really weird because like, Scarlett Johansson's not Asian; it's an Asian woman, and the Asian woman's like, oh, I'm your mom.
And that's what I'm gonna go into. But like, if there's one thing that I do think that this movie improves on with the anime, because like the anime is already just perfect. Like it's perfect. It's amazing. But if there's one thing that I think this movie improves upon just slightly is that they actually characterize Motoko a lot more in this movie than they do in the original anime, because they don't really like flesh her out as a character in the original anime. They just make her have a couple of snappy lines, some deep philosophical moments, and just she's overall just a very likable character. But in this one, they kind of give her more just to deal with story-wise. And my biggest flaw with this movie is that in the movie they just have the audacity to do a certain thing. There's a scene where Mira finds out about her that she had a past and that she's not the only one that they tried to make a super soldier, a super weapon. And that's when Kuze tells her, he's like, yeah, you weren't the only one. I was one of them too, or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's another part where I didn't understand. Like, the doctor who made the guy, that Kuze, you just said?
Yeah, Kuze.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, he was too violent for his shell, so we had to like, you know, get rid of him. But like, if you knew he was going to be violent, then why didn't you just, you know, off him?
Well, because he was going to be used as a weapon.
Yeah, but like, even if like, you knew like he was violent for the shell, but like you still kept him around for what reason? Like you knew, like I know it's because he was supposed to be like Mira, but like you got rid of him, so why didn't you just kill him if you knew he was going to be violent anyway? You knew he was violent, which obviously if he's violent and you know you want to kill him. Or you left him to be dead, he's gonna get mad and also violent. But like, why not just kill him and get rid of that problem from ever becoming a problem? That just seemed like such a simple solution that like couldn't like that was like too obvious not to ignore.
I don't know. don't fucking know, man. It's a movie. It's whatever.
But like, it's so stupid.
Dude, there's so many movies that do that, like where they just have shit for the plot. Like whatchamacallit could have been solved in like. There's a bunch of movies that could be solved in like 2 seconds. Like, or else then you wouldn't have a plot.
This is but why is that?
The Avengers, a perfect example. The Avengers wouldn't have happened if they just destroyed the Tesseract.
But they want the Infinity Stones.
It doesn't mention that in the beginning of the movie.
About
Literally, they knew that Asgard was gonna be all like, "Hey, I'm gonna take this Infinity Stone," so they were just like, "Hey, let's just fucking destroy it and not have it happen."
Well, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. was gonna use that for other reasons. Was gonna use it for weapons, though, even though they knew they were dangerous. Like, the heroes obviously would probably want to destroy it, but like they knew. But S.H.I.E.L.D. was like, "Don't worry, we'll take care of this. We're gonna use it for weapons instead." So yeah, like okay, we'll take care of it, says S.H.I.E.L.D. You're like, okay, here, okay.
We'll take care of it. S.H.I.E.L.D. says snarkily. But like,
So,
there's
like,
a lot of movies that could be like that.
But like that's way too obvious of a solution that even like the people in that movie would be like, could we just kill him? Because we know he's gonna
kill him.
Like, he's gonna be violent and he's probably gonna come kick our asses and kill each and every one of us for revenge. So why don't we just kill him now so we can live longer and maybe have a more.
I think they did try to kill him because he's all disheveled and destroyed.
Well, like,
And maybe it just didn't work.
if that's the case, I didn't pick up on that, and just makes that movie a little bit more like. Oh, I don't like this movie, man.
Whatever, dude. But what I was gonna say before was my main problem with this movie is that, like, they had the balls to do this. It's like Mira goes to visit this woman who lost her daughter, because in this movie they were pretty much like taking and kidnapping and killing poor people to like put their ghosts inside of shells to make weapons and super soldiers and stuff. So she sees this woman, Motoko Kusanagi's mother. If any of you watch the anime, you know that name sounds familiar. So literally what they do is they kill the original Motoko Kusanagi. They put her brain inside Scarlett Johansson's body. And that's it. She's the major. So like literally you could have avoided the entirety of the whitewashing and everything. You could have avoided all the controversy, all the boycotts, everything, if you just cast the Japanese actress. But instead, you had to go and add fuel to the fire by making literally the main character of Ghost in the Shell a white woman who has the brain of a Japanese woman.
But you said that, like,
come on!
But you said that, like, even though it's a shell, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. But like, still, I'm saying if they made it any other name, if her name was like Erica Glaspie or something, and they put her brain inside of Scarlett Johansson's body, that would have been fine. But but having the original name of the character, of the main character of every single iteration of Ghost in the Shell yet, die, and then be inside of Scarlett Johansson's body, just literally is just a kick in the balls to like everybody.
But like, you would even say it yourself, like, it doesn't matter because Scarlett Johansson's just the shell. People don't understand that it's the shell because they haven't probably watched the movie or the original. But like, who gives a shit? It's just the shell. So like, it's not who it actually is. But it's like, you see it's the Japanese actress, like when like that during that like one flashback thing. Like, I just don't fully understand. I just don't understand your logic with it. And like, even though you tried to explain this to me last night, I just don't get it.
Motoko Kusanagi is the main character.
Yeah.
Of Ghost in the Shell.
I got that.
Okay. She's a Japanese woman.
I got that.
Scarlett Johansson's shell is a white American woman.
I got that.
So, they kill the Japanese woman. They kill Motoko Kusanagi, the literal main character of the entire franchise.
Yeah.
And they put her brain inside of an American woman. That doesn't rub you the wrong way at all.
Because it's just an American shell.
It doesn't matter. Well, it both matters and doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's like her body. It's like the body is like whatever. It's just a shell. It's a cybernetic thing. But it also matters because it's the main character of the franchise. If it was any other woman, it would have been fine. But it had to be Motoko Kusanagi for some reason.
Is there any other woman in this movie other than the mom and Mira?
The girl.
Oh, the doctor.
The doctor.
What girl?
The girl in Section 9, like the black chick in Section 9.
Oh, at that point, it was
The
like,
British one?
It was like, oh, how does this feel as she like rubs her lip and like different?
Oh, and the prostitute. That hurt.
Yeah,
prostitute.
that was oh, wait, what's the girl?
The girl who went with them to the nightclub and she was like handing them guns through the window. She was in a couple scenes.
Oh yeah.
I forgot. I don't know what her name was.
It's a side character that was like really pushed off.
That's one of the
so far off to the side that like.
That's another problem in this movie. Togusa and Ishikawa and all other very important characters in the franchise don't like have a lot of screen time. Togusa is an amazing character. Like I don't know why they chose to just like have him be off to the side. Then again, he is off to the side a lot in the anime, but like he still has a lot more screen time in the anime. But like him like in this is just like Asian Secret Service guy, which is really shitty because he's actually a really compelling character. But yeah, that's my main problem with the movie. And then at the end of the movie, they show Motoko Kusanagi's freaking grave. I was like, are you kidding me? That's literally like the death of the character and whatever. So, whatever. Over that. Other problems I have with this movie, the whole controversy thing, that thing, the fact that they didn't really adapt a lot of the philosophical elements that made the original anime so great, that they kind of like watered them down, which was kind of disappointing. Togusa and Ishikawa being side characters. And Saito too, because Saito's a baller. And then just having like a methodical, like mustache twirling villain be the real villain at the end of the movie. Because he was just like every other big businessman, corporate jackass that wants his way but ends up not getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, really for me it's just I think the movie's really boring. A lot of shit doesn't make sense to me. Another scene that doesn't make sense to me was that one scene where it's just like, take that mouth thing off, like someone just put a wrapper up to your face and you just cut a hole out of it for your mouth. And she takes it off, he's like, how's that feel?
Oh, that scene was fantastic. Because that was one of the philosophical scenes, like she wants to like feel what a human feels like. Because when she touches it, she's a robot, she's like an external shell, like she just wants to feel what someone feels like.
I just thought it was stupid.
What a human feels like.
I just thought it was stupid, alright?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a really great way of conveying that she's just wants to be human.
Again, didn't get that. So when I saw that, yeah, I didn't understand most of it. I thought it was boring as hell. I just thought a lot of it was stupid. But yeah, I think that's really. And also, I really didn't like any of the characters. Those are my four main problems. That's all of them. The gang's all here.
The gang's all here.
So,
yeah,
we can go into scoring this, I guess, now.
To sum up, visuals are fantastic. Well, what we both agree on. Visuals are fantastic. Music's great. I love the characters. You don't like the characters.
You thought it was great. I thought it was boring.
I thought it was great. You thought it was boring. So, I think I'm going to give it 2 scores. So, why don't you go first?
Okay. So, I've been thinking about it. I'm in parallel. I'm been on the tightrope between 2, so I'm just gonna go right down the middle. And I would This is always the hardest part, but I have to go first, which means it's gonna be good. Yeah.
Keep sucking your own dick.
Yeah. You know what? If I could, I would. Just one easy rib surgery. That's it. One easy rib surgery away from that. I would go to like, I don't know. I would cause like 3.5 bar fights out of 10. That's the best one I got. No, I would have.
You were in between a 3 and a 4.
Yeah, I really don't like it. I would have like 3.5 police handcuffs on me and a stripper pole, and I would have to fight my way out of it out of 10. I would jump off. There we go. I would jump off 3.5 skyscrapers out of 10. I would
Can I go now?
No, not yet. I got one more. I would go scuba diving 3.5 times out of 10 in some shitty river and try to get some just I don't know, just this movie's not that good. This movie's not good.
Okay. I'm gonna give it 2 scores. As an adaptation of Ghost in the Shell, of like the anime, I would give it. I would.
Yeah, there you go.
Shut up. I would. I would. Fuck. I would go camo. I would turn invisible 8.5 times.
Boo.
Out of 10.
Boo.
Get off the stage! Someone shut that fucking dog up. And as a movie, like if it didn't have the Ghost in the Shell name on it, if as just a movie,
it's called Cyber Cop now.
if it was just called Angsty Cyber Cop,
Yeah.
no, can we make a movie named Angsty Cyber Cop?
It's what was the thing we just said before? Thrives with angst.
What?
It's like thrives.
Thrives with angst. Yeah. If this was discount Blade Runner.
If it was just called Thrives with Angst.
Yeah, if it was called Thrives, if it was just a movie, if it didn't have the Ghost in the Shell name, if it was just a movie,
called Thrives.
I give it like a, I would pork. I would pork 6.5 gauges out of 10. Robot gauges.
Jesus Christ, dude, it's stupid. Not only is it stupid, it's gross.
Gross.
Makes me sick.
Disgusting.
Gotta take a sip of water now. I would
be a 6.5, 7. Yeah, I'll give it a 6.75. Give it right in the middle.
Wow. Pitchfork.
Pitchfork doesn't do like 0.75. They just do like 0.9.
This album's like a 7.4.
Yeah, did you see that article where it's like Pitchfork gives music a 6.2?
Yeah.
From The Onion.
Yeah, More Life, the playlist, not the album. We give a 7.4 because of the vibe. Yeah, feel the vibe. That's why no one. That's why you
gave
don't.
it a 7.8.
I wasn't. Hey, I didn't even know.
More Life wasn't good. It was okay.
You just don't get the vibe, man.
I don't get the vibe.
Yeah,
of shitty Jamaican dancehall.
I'm just the biggest Drake fan ever, man. You just gotta listen to me.
And I'm not riding Anthony Fantano's coattails.
You didn't get the vibe of the music. You're just stupid. You just didn't get the vibe, man.
I'm not riding Anthony Fantano's coattails. I think Jamaican dancehall is the worst, just in general. Like I know there's like some good dancehall releases, but I don't like them. Sorry.
I would one more for the road.
I'm gonna kill myself.
I would kill myself 3.5 times out of 10.
No, you would hang yourself in the reflecting prison cell.
I would I would do that. That's a pretty good one. I would drown in the 3 feet of water that Scarlett Johansson, that garbage guy, fought in.
You would drown in it?
Yeah, I would just fall on the ground, turn over face first, and just wait.
Awesome. All right, everybody.
All bubbles, and then they just stop.
All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Support your local anime scene. Just kidding. Don't fucking do that. Nah, if you like anime, if you like Ghost in the Shell, see this movie.
Yeah. If you're a weeb.
Yeah. So.
If you're a weeb, yeah, throw us a like. Comment and subscribe.
Comment and subscribe. We'll give you $5 if you call.
Yeah. If you comment weeb in the comments section below, I or DeGe, probably DeGe, will give you $5
yourself
in a competition, which we will announce the winner
in the next episode.
No.
Oh?
We'll just
over Twitter.
We'll just announce it. No dates. We'll find a day.
We'll just go out into the middle of the street and scream the winner, so nobody else.
No, we'll announce it. I just don't know where or when or if we ever will.
Yeah,
we'll have a winner. We just won't ever announce.
Okay. Yeah, no, I got you.
So yes.
Yes. All right. I think we're gonna cut it here.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching.
I'm Gabbs.
And I'm DeGe.
This is what our outro looks like.